Hello out there, and today at long last we are finally talking about gentlemen's folders. And the Gents carry video has been one I've struggled with trying to formulate over the past month or so because it's just such a big topic to cover and it's based off of what your personal preference is. You know, since it is so subjective to your opinion and there is no right or wrong answer as to what type of knife you choose for a gentleman's carry, it's just really hard to broach this type of topic. And what I figured out I would do was sort of break it down into a few different categories. So what we're going to have is about 5 categories of knives that all apply to the gentleman's folders in some way. And I'm going to talk about a couple knives from each category and go over what the pros and cons are of the knives in that category, and then eventually pick the ones that I think are the best for me. You know, and there will definitely be some overlap between the categories because a lot of these knives are going to be very versatile. And most likely, a lot of you won't really agree with what I choose or what I like as my gents carry, but hopefully there'll be enough information and enough different aspects of the video to talk about that you'll at least get some background to help you make the choice or confirm the choice that you have for your gentleman's EDC. So let's just get right into the first category, and we'll cover all of my preferences and other carry options as we go through these knives. All right, so the first one is going to be what you see here, traditional knives. And the great thing about traditional knives is that they are absolutely timeless. This case knife, which is a copper lock, and then this buck, I mean, these knives are just great looking, and this style of knife is always going to be an attractive knife, at least to me. That doesn't necessarily mean that it'll be my choice to carry, but I do have a deep appreciation for this style. Getting into the qualities of these knives, well, this one is a little bit of, not a rarity, but it is not quite the same as a lot of other traditional knives in that this copper lock has a really nice lockup, and it also has a guard, a slight guard. And those are 2 of the 3 main things that I'm looking for in any kind of knife. So I see a red flag when I'm not getting those things. So traditional carry in general for me might not be the best thing, because like looking at this buck here, it is a slip joint, so none of these 3 blades lock up. And then there is no pocket clip, which is another big red flag for me. And then there's no guard when you have the blade open. So using this, one of these as my preferred knife in any situation, let alone a gentleman's one, probably wouldn't be the best thing. You know, this copper lock has the guard, and it does have an excellent lockup, by the way. So if you're looking for a nice, classy, traditional knife that locks up well, I can definitely recommend this one. But it doesn't have a pocket clip. And so one thing that you're going to have to think about when you're choosing your gents carry is how are you going to utilize it? Are you going to carry it the same way that you do your everyday EDC? You know, I carry my gents carry in the same pocket as I do my daily carry knife. So not having a pocket clip is sort of a deal breaker. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't have this as a backup in a coat pocket, and I definitely would. You know, I would have that as just a secondary knife. But you might feel differently and might just want your primary knife to be in your coat pocket in that kind of situation. Again, so just a lot of different things to think about and how you're going to have your knife. You know, some people really just might not care and might just want a loose knife in their pocket in that situation. And that means that one of these would be great for you. You know, when we're looking at gentlemen's carry knives, one of the things that we're looking for is just something that is extremely classy. You know, we want classy, we want lightweight, and we want sleek, and this fits the bill across the board. And honestly, so does this. I don't think, personally speaking, there's anything much classier than a nice wood scale. I love the look of it. You know, like I said, timeless. So good options here, but again, it really is all about how you prefer to utilize the knife more so than just the characteristics of the knife itself. All right, so that's the traditional. So let's get these out of the way. And our next topic is called full-sized EDC, just dressed up a bit. And the reason why I chose this as a category is that there is just a lot of carbon fiber in the world right now, and it looks good. And so many knives and so many designs that maybe in the past wouldn't have been thought as a gentleman's carry kind of design. You know, when you slap carbon fiber on them, it really changes the look of them. And carbon fiber is just absolutely gorgeous, and it really makes this a good conversation piece and just a very classy looking knife when you have, you know, accent pieces like this on the Benchmade 484-1, and then the Spyderco Domino with the carbon fiber blue weave here. You know, just a really good knife. And I said full-sized EDC for this category, but it's not like these are huge knives. They just have 3-inch blades, you know. But you can see how much bigger that 3-inch blade is, you know, when you compare it to the 2.75-inch blade of the case here. You know, the whole knife is just really different. You know, so there's a lot more substance to these full-sized EDCs, and not to say that they're large knives, but when we're thinking about sleek and lightweight as a gentleman's folder, you know, both of these are going to be in the 3-ounce range plus, and they're not small the way you would expect some of your gents folders to be. But that said, they are extremely functional, and so if you're looking for a knife with really great materials that can still be, you know, a good full use kind of knife, I mean, this might be an excellent choice. A little bit on the expensive side, sure. But, I mean, there is a lot of value for what you're spending. And definitely, you know, for the person who's looking for a, like I said, fully functional knife to carry in a suit pocket or, you know, slacks, this is definitely a good choice. You know, one other thing is that, you know, no matter what you're wearing, if it's a 3-piece suit or a sports jacket or just, you know, a button down and slacks, whatever the occasion is, this knife is going to, either of these knives are going to be perfectly fitting with, you know, any high-class dress that you might have to wear. So, you know, just saying as far as that goes, you know, these will never be underwhelming. So that's the full-size EDC. Just dressed up a bit category. I really like this category. I prefer something just a little bit smaller, which we'll get to eventually. But I have utilized that 484-1 in a gentleman's setting quite a few times. Carried it to a couple weddings. Love that one. All right, but let's get into our next category. And this is called light and sleek. So light and sleek are two of the backbones of the gentleman's carry idea. And so the lighter, the better. The sleeker, the better. The less space it takes up in your pocket, the better. And so the two knives that we have for this to talk about are the Spyderco Des Horn, and then also the CRKT Glide Lock 2. All right, and so these knives just are an example of how light and sleek knives can be, and the kind of knife that you might be thinking about when you are choosing a gents folder. You know, this is a very aggressive looking blade from the Des Horn, but what you don't see here is just how light this knife is at sub 2 ounces with just a very thin build and a small liner and G10. I mean, just extremely light and an excellent, what I call, letter opener. All right, so really lightweight tasks. These are not going to be knives that get a lot of work done for you. They're almost, in my opinion, just better conversation pieces than anything. Now, that doesn't mean they're not functional, but this glide lock here, as classy as it is with the scales that it has, I mean, it's not really designed for a hard use at all. And so, if you're looking for something that just focuses on the weight and just how light it is, and can maybe get a little bit of work done, but isn't going to be, you know, as fully functional as the previous category, this might work for you. It doesn't really work for me though in a primary knife function, because the big thing that jumps out is a lot of these knives, again, don't have guards. You know, so light and sleek, when we're focused on just those categories, those aspects of the knife, a lot of other stuff gets left off. You know, and there's a lot of stuff that you can't do when all you're trying to do is make a lightweight knife. And there are some knives that that really capture all the properties that we're looking for. But when you get this aggressive with the weight, and you're looking at just the ultimate gentleman's aspect and not the fact that this might need to be used in just regular EDC capacity, yeah, there's just some things that are missing. There's some things that are missing that I wouldn't really want to break boxes down with this knife, even though it has an S30V and I'm sure the blade would be excellent at it. Just the fact that you could slide up onto it with no guard, just not really the most appropriate thing for that. And then this one doesn't really have a clip, and the locking mechanism isn't strong. So what you'll see are just a lot of kind of conversation pieces and just classy looking knives that have nice looking characteristics, but not really the kind of knife that you want to use all that often. So that's sort of how I feel about this category. But again, a lot of overlap with these going into to other kinds of knives as well. All right, so let's get into the category that I do like the most. And this one is called just good looking small folders. Right, so we're a little bit smaller than the full-sized EDC, but definitely have the ability to get the job done because they're built and constructed for use. And I actually have 3 knives here, and funny thing, I had just finished filming this video when this knife right here, the Spyderco Chaparral with the Raffir Noble handle scales, came in. So I had to refilm, unfortunately. I'd finally gotten this this video done after all this time, and then this knife came in, and I knew that it had to be in the video, so here we are refilming it. So we have a few knives here, and this category is the one that I gravitate towards, all right, because I love a knife that can be full use but still look really, really classy and still be really light. And that's what we have with all these knives. All under 2.5 ounces, all just extremely strong and sturdy built, and they're all really good looking classy knives. So for me, they fit the bill in every way possible. All right, starting with the Benchmade 770, this Osborne design, it really is just essentially, let me clean it off real quick. It is just essentially a shrunken down Osborne. I mean, it looks like so many of the other Osborne designs, but you do have a nice clip. You do have a classy looking green and black G10, and a guard here, and a great locking mechanism in the axis lock. So this really hits everything that I'm looking for in a Gents carry. Love it. All right, the Kershaw Sapphire, long discontinued by now, but still just an excellent knife. I've been waiting to get this one on camera for a long time. Ken Onion design. Really a big fan of this one. Let me get that wiped off. We got those fingerprints here that are just going to drive me crazy. So, yeah, just always really loved the design and the shape of this knife and just how high class it looks, but fully functional that it is. And that sort of is the epitome of what I'm looking for. A knife that if I wasn't carrying this in a gentleman's capacity, be just fine. It's not too nice, and it's not too basic. It's just right there in between, and can do anything that I need it to do. Just because you're going to a special kind of event and you're dressed up nicely doesn't really mean that you're not going to need a knife the same way you would any other day. And so I want something that's really strong and fully functional, but also that is really good looking. And this one is pretty much flawless when it comes to all that. And that's why I had to refilm this video, get this one on camera. All right, the Chaparral Raffir Noble, any Chaparral, I guess. I've heard really great things about all of them. Economically, maybe not the most inexpensive knife, but just very cool. Obviously, a great conversation piece, a great looking knife, but one that is built for use, definitely built for use. So, love having this knife, definitely the one that I would prefer to go with. This type of knife is the best definition of this good looking small folder. So these 3 knives are definitely the ones that I would like the most in a gentleman's carry capacity. All right, and then the last category is actually sort of a fun one, and it really encapsulates everything that I want you to take from the video. Forget it. Carry what you want. It doesn't really matter, right? This is all about you and what works for you. And so that's why I have the Benchmade 300 axis flipper, which I think weighs about 5.5 ounces. And then I have this assisted opening HK unsub on the table. It doesn't matter. You know, I was at a wedding the other day, not the other day, but about a month or so ago, and I was talking knives with someone that I'd never met before, just having a conversation, and he pulled out a Cold Steel, I believe it was a Code 4. Cold Steel Code 4, or it might have been, no, it was, I'm sorry, it was an XL Voyager. Cold Steel XL Voyager. And we were talking about knives, and he was saying, you know, why would I change what I carry for any kind of event? You know, I'm used to what I carry. This is the knife I like to have on me. And that's it. That's all there is to it. So that makes a lot of sense to me, guys. You know, if you are carrying a knife every day, you're carrying the same knife, and it's part of, you know, your procedure and your routine, you know, changing your routine for a special event just seems a little bit silly, doesn't it? And we do that, and, you know, Gents folders, with, you know, a lot of people, myself included, you know, we like to dress up and choose something for the occasion, and that's great. But there are plenty of people out there that look at knives in a different way. And, you know, there's no problem with saying, no, this is what I carry every day. It fits into this set of pants the same as it does my other pair of pants, so I'm not going to change that. So carry what you want. Carry whatever you want. It doesn't really make any sense to do it any other way besides that, you know? So if what your EDC is something heavy and bulky like this, and you're able to make it work in a gentleman's setting in, you know, lighter slacks or something like that, good. More power to you. You know, whatever works for you can be a gentleman's folder, you know. The gentleman is defined by the person, not what he carries, right? At least that's what I think. So, yeah, definitely you want something to complement, you know, the rest of the stuff that you have on you. But at the end of the day, not sure that it's really that important. It's just something to think about. And I'm going to bring out the knives that I like the most for gentlemen's carry one last time. And I'm also going to throw in the 484-1 because although it is just a little bit bigger, it is one that I've used quite a few times. So this is the kind of stuff that I really love. You know, these four and other knives like it. You know, I've said the word classy probably 24 times in this video, but that's what I think of. I think of classy and functional and a knife that will not let me down for anything that I need, but will also really fit with what I am wearing or with the occasion that I'm attending. So that's really all, guys. That's the kind of stuff that I think about. Hopefully you got a little bit of background. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I missed and a lot of points I could have made, but in an 18.5-minute video, you know, one cut, there's really no way to hit it all. So anything that I remember that I missed, I'll hit down below in the description. But I really appreciate your time. Your feedback, like I said, drives the channel. Let me know what you think, and I will talk with you soon. Have a good one.